What's going on, everybody? How are we? So I'm doing my late recap video for UFC 300. Obviously, I was going to do this yesterday, but I was feeling a bit ill, but I'm feeling a bit better today. So I'm just going to recap the whole fight. It's one of the best cards of all time, no denying it. This card was fucking sick. From top to bottom, almost every fight delivered except for one, which I'll get to. But let's start with the first fight, which was Deiveson and Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Now, Cody Garbrandt, he looked really good in this fight, man. He looked good. He looked fast. He looked slick. If I'm Cody Garbrandt, don't retire. You didn't get dropped. You didn't get hurt. Defensively sound. You know, his defense looked a lot better. He wasn't going full Cody Garbrandt. You know, he wasn't pulling a Garbrandt in this fight, which is funny to say because it is literally Cody Garbrandt. But he wasn't going in there. He wasn't swinging with his chin like wild like that. He was very smart with it. He was looking good. Takedown defense looked really good as well. But once he did actually get taken down, it's, you know, it was all over at that point. Once he actually got taken down, he didn't really have much defensive jiu-jitsu. And I did actually see the MMA Guru's video where he said Cody Garbrandt's sort of like Justin Gaethje off his back, where defensively he has no defensive jiu-jitsu. He's like a white belt off his back. And I do agree with that in a way, but I would say Cody Garbrandt is a bit more defensively sound, I'd say, than Justin Gaethje, but still, defense off his back, not that great. He was holding on, he was trying to survive, but eventually he gets caught, he gets subbed. But, you know, he can't hold his head in shame. It was a good performance against a former UFC champion, and I think he should fight again. I really do think he can beat some of these guys in the division. He seems like he's, I don't know, improving at 32. You never know. Who knows? But as for Deiveson Figueiredo, I'd love to see Figueiredo maybe fight the winner of Jose Aldo versus Jonathan Martinez. Ideally, if it's Aldo who wins, maybe we see Deiveson Figueiredo versus Peter Yan or Chito Vera if those two don't end up fighting each other. There's some plenty of good fights for them to do next. Then we had Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. I picked Jim Miller, and I did awful for these picks, by the way. I'm just going to add that. I did pick Figueiredo, but I went like 6 and 7 for these cards, so I didn't really do that good for picks, and I am man enough to admit that I really did awful. But my reasoning for picking Jim Miller is I thought that Bobby Green's chin would be completely cracked and he wouldn't be able to take shots, but he showed that he was still able to take shots. We also got to factor in he's just very defensively sound. That has always been one of the best parts of Bobby Green's game, is he does have really good defense, really good Philly shell. He moves a lot, moves his head a lot. He's always mocking, he's always pointing, he's always, you know, leaving the shoulder out there, making people hit the shoulder. But he did get hurt in the first round badly. I don't think they counted it as a knockdown, but he did get it. I think he got like knocked down or rocked. I can't quite remember, but he was getting hurt a lot every time Jim Miller would actually hit him. So maybe his chin is gone. He's just so good defensively that, you know, he doesn't have to take too many shots to prove it. But he was getting hit a lot. He was getting hurt a lot when Jim Miller would land. But the thing is, Jim Miller wasn't landing too much. He was kicking the leg a lot. He was doing good with the leg kicks, but, you know, he didn't shoot any takedowns, which was weird. I don't know why he didn't go for takedowns. Maybe it was just the way Bobby Green was fighting him. Maybe you just didn't see any good openings for a takedown, but you would have expected him to at least shoot or something. But, you know, Bobby Green put on a good performance. I thought that Jim Miller won the first round, like I say, but the other rounds were dominant for Bobby Green, and he almost knocked Jim Miller out in the third round. But Jim Miller, you know, he's a BMF, he's tough, he survived, and he went to a decision. Bobby Green called out Paddy Pimblett. I'd love to see that fight next. I think that makes all the sense in the world. So, yeah, let's get that fight going next. Then we had Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Now, this was probably at the lower tier of the fights on this card, if I'm going to be honest. But it was still a good fight. If this was on the main card of an Apex card, or even just the prelims of an Apex card, this would be one of the best fights probably of that night. One of the best. Because this really was a good, fun, back and forth fight. A lot of the fight had to do with Jessica Andrade's leg kicks. She booted out the legs of Marina Rodriguez, got on top of her in the first round, won the round with that, just hitting her on the ground. And it was literally the leg kicks and the pressure from Jessica Andrade that wanted the fight. You know, not the greatest fight on this card, but still a really good scrap. Then we had Jarlin Turner. I picked Jessica Andrade, by the way. I was thinking, damn, you know what, 2-1, not too bad at all. But then it just went downhill. Jarlin Turner versus Renato Moicano. Renato Moicano was getting tooled up on the feet. He got hurt to the body, got badly dropped by Jarlin Turner. But Jarlin Turner fumbled one of the biggest fumbles of all time. He drops him and goes to walk off like it's he's like, yeah, I got that 300k in the bank. He's thinking like that. He walks off. Yeah, if I walk off, this is going to go cold. That's going to give me that 300k. But it's what cost him the whole fight. He would have got that. He would have knocked him out if he went for the finish there. If he got on top of Renato Moicano and just hit him a few more times, I think he would have knocked him out. But he drops Renato Moicano. He gets back to his feet. And then the next round, takes down Jarlin Turner, beats him up, and gets his first ever TKO in his MMA career. That's right. After 26 fights, or 27 fights, Renato Moicano can finally say he has a win via TKO in his career. So congratulations to Renato Moicano. And he had a really interesting post-fight interview. Said some base things, talked about the Austrian economic system. I think he shouted out Ludwig or something like that. Talked about his love of the First Amendment. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Then we had Sadiq Yusuff as Diego Lopez. I predicted Yusuff. I forgot that he had no chin because he immediately got dropped twice and then beat up badly. Respect to him, but Diego Lopez just on a different level, it appears. He beat the shit out of him. And he got robbed of 300k. He should have got a 300k. I don't know why they didn't give him one. He absolutely deserved one. They gave all the rich guys, the richer fighters, 300k. Why does Justin Gaethje need 300k? Well, actually, he probably does need 300k, but why does Max Holloway get 600k? Yeah, he deserves it, and I'm not denying he doesn't, but what about these poorer guys? These guys who don't get the big salaries? Is Dana White using his business mind if I give these young kids the 300k, they're not going to want to fight? He's probably got some sort of mindset with that, which, fairly is probably true to be fair to him, but still, man, come on, dog. Come on. Diego Lopez goes in there and destroys a ranked opponent with ease and he doesn't get a fucking bonus. That's bullshit. But good performance by Diego. Then we had Kayla Harrison versus Holly Holm. I picked Kayla Harrison. I'm not that bad. I'm not that stupid on picks. I felt like this was a mismatch. And Kayla Harrison made it look like a mismatch. I will say, though, one of the big factors in Kayla Harrison winning was Holly Holm's fight IQ. If you're a boxing Hall of Famer, you've had a kickboxing career, you're known for your MMA striking, why in God's name are you fucking clinching up with a fucking a black belt judoka who's also an Olympic gold medalist in Kayla Harrison? Why the fuck are you clinching her? She gets immediately judo hip tossed, going for that. I don't know why she did that. She immediately gets judo hip toss. She does reverse position on Holly Holm, but Kayla Harrison gets right back up and then just immediately mauls the fuck out of her, beats the shit out of her, and subs her with a rear naked choke. So congratulations to Kayla Harrison. If she can make 135 on the dot, she's going to be the champion. Pennington's days as champion are over, in my opinion. Go get that belt, take some nice photos with it, make sure it's nice and shiny, and then hand it over to Kayla Harrison because she's definitely going to beat you. In my opinion, Also, the head kick into the takedown was really nice by Kayla Harrison as well, by the way. Then we had Kelvin Guitar versus Aljamain Sterling. I picked Guitar because I didn't know what the physicality would be like for Aljamain Sterling, if he'd look better, if he'd be strong enough. But I was immediately regretting this pick when during fight week, the photos of Aljamain Sterling came out, topless, and you could see that he's put on some mass. He's up body-wise, he's looking a lot more built. Physicality-wise, he looked like William Knight as a bantamweight. He looked fucking massive, upper body. I was immediately regretting my pick, but I'm not about that changing the pick life. I wasn't you know what? I'm going to change my picks. I was nah, fuck that. I'm rocking with Kelvin Guitar, and he is a slow starter. So in this fight, he was never going to find his timing. After that first takedown Aljamain Sterling got, I knew the fight was over because Kelvin Guitar is never going to be able to find his timing against a grappler when he knows he can get taken down. He's going to be so wary of the takedowns, And yeah, that was pretty much the fight. He would get taken down, he'd get back up, get taken down again. A bit of a bore to watch, but good performance by Aljamain Sterling. Wouldn't mind seeing Aljamain Sterling versus Alexander Volkanovski. Volk deserves the title rematch, but I feel like this is a good fight for Volk. They should do Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway, in my opinion, and then the winner of Aljo versus Volk can fight the winner. Like, come on. I think that makes all the sense in the world, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. You know, you can do Volk versus Aljo in Perth, and you don't have to worry about Volk getting chinned, because Aljamain's got pillow hands. He's not going to knock him out, in my opinion. Touch wood. Touch wood. But I reckon it'll be alright. I reckon that's a good fight to do. And Volk can fight in Perth, and then you can do Ilia versus Holloway, and then Volk can fight the winner. And then he can also get some momentum back as well. But I don't know, that's just an opinion. Yuri Prochazka versus Rakic. Rakic was looking really good in this fight, man. He was looking the best he's ever looked in his UFC career. Booting up the leg of Yuri Prochazka. Landed so many strikes in this fight. He was not fighting boringly in this fight. He was fighting like a man who really wanted to knock Yuri Prochazka out. And this was, watching this fight, I was like, yeah, this is why he's my dark horse. This is why I have Rakic to be my dark horse champion. Unfortunately, he gets knocked out by Yuri Prochazka. Comeback KO. Yuri Prochazka pretty much just chatted his way to victory because he was getting his leg booted up. He had no leg to fucking walk on at one point. And Rakic just kept booting up the leg. He was booting up the other leg. It wasn't just like a one-sided leg kick. He was kicking up both legs. He was destroying both legs. But Yuri Prochazka just chatted his way to victory, like I say. Moving forward, broke Rakic a bit, and Rakic didn't really react well to the head kick, I think it was, that hit him on the ear. Obviously, equilibrium. He was fucking wobbling all over the place, running around, turning. You know, he was giving his back. You know, you don't turn your back to an opponent. And he just got beat up and then finished. So good performance by Yuri Prochazka. He called for a title shot against Alex Pereira, but that's not going to happen in my opinion. I think Yuri Prochazka's got to earn his title shot. I want to see him versus Jamal Hill or him versus Jan Blachowicz next. I think those fights make sense. Let's get some fresh matchups going. Alex Pereira can fight Magomed Ankalaev. That's probably the fight they're going to do next. But yeah, I don't think Yuri Prochazka should get a title shot yet, in my opinion. He only beat Rakic, and he already lost Alex. Then we had Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. Weird fight, I know. Really bizarre. This was after all of them crazy fights. And I feel like this was a really good performance. Looking at it in hindsight, we all expected Bo Nickel to go in there and absolutely destroy Cody Brundage in the first round. So we put all that pressure on Bo Nickel because he's such a big favourite, but you know, he didn't face any adversity in this fight, really. Like, yeah, Bo Nickel stuffed some takedowns, but is that where we were, like, factoring in that he's a fraud? That Bo Nickel didn't immediately take him down? Like, are we factoring in that he got hit 4 times? Like, yeah, he didn't look bad at all in this fight. Like, yeah, it's Cody Brundage. He's not, like, a world beater or a world destroyer by any means, but he did what he had to do. It went to the second round. We learned he's got good cardio for a middleweight. Didn't look like he was gassing or anything. And he did what he had to do, but I feel like the fact that he went into the second round, everyone's like, oh, you know, this Bo Nickel, man, he's a fraud. But, you know, looking at it objectively, he did what he had to do. Like, yeah, these are people. These are other professional athletes they're fighting at the end of the day. He didn't face any adversity, but just the fight went longer than everyone expected. So good performance by Bo Nickel. I want to see him versus Cedric Dumas next, but don't put it on a pay-per-view because he said he wants to fight steps up. You know, Dumas did beat Cody Brundage, so technically when you look at it as a step up, I do think that he's not ready for a big step up yet. He's 6-0. He's not very experienced in mixed martial arts. Let's see him develop a little bit more, but keep him off main cards from now on, in my opinion, especially pay-per-view main cards. But yeah, that's just my opinion. You know, I think he should stay active, beat a few more guys outside the rankings. Lower tier guys, and then I reckon he should face, like, I don't know. I'd say Eric Anders, but Eric Anders didn't look good against Jamie Pickett, so I don't even know if you can factor that in as a step up at this point. But yeah, I think keep him unranked guys for a few more fights, in my opinion. Yeah, he's got all the hype in the world, but obviously he needs to get a bit more experience, in my opinion, before you throw him in there with like the, guys on the deep end, especially guys with takedown defense, guys who are going to crack him. Like, I feel like he needs a bit more work. Because when you think about it, his whole professional career, bar one fight, has been under the Zuffa umbrella, Dana White Contender Series and UFC. So, he hasn't beat anyone too great yet. So, you can't do a massive step up, in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, enough about that fight. We had Charles Oliveira versus Ahmed Sarukian. I thought Charles Oliveira was literally about to fucking giga chat his way to victory immediately when he got that guillotine. Ahmed Sarukian, I didn't notice this at the time, but his fucking shorts were falling off. You could literally see his fucking undies, which I didn't notice at the time. But yeah, he was literally falling out of his undies, so that that was a fucking tight-ass guillotine by Charles Oliveira. The man was literally fucking trying to take his shorts off. But Ahmed Sarukian survives. Charles Oliveira gets on top, lands some good shots. I feel like he should have really gone a bit more hard with the ground and pound. He should have elbowed the fuck out of his face a bit more, landed a bit more ground and pound, hit to the body while he was on the ground. Try and gas Arman out, but I'd say that's a clear first round for Oliveira. Second round was a clear round for Arman. Now, watching live, I thought that Charles Oliveira had choked him out cold and then he had woken back up. So I was like saying that's a robbery. It should have been Charles Oliveira. But looking at it back, Ahmed Sarukian was doing, and I think it was Cesar Gracie. It was one of the Gracies who did a video on this. He wasn't, I don't think he was limp. I think it was just, he was using the dead man defense, which is when you like completely flatten out, you relax your body, which ideally doesn't look good to the judges, but he still won, but he did look like he went limp, but I think it was just his defense he was using. But like, Jesus, I thought that he was fucking choked out cold at one point. He looked completely limp. But he wins. Split decision. It depends on how you rate that submission over the control time of Ahmed Sarukian. It's a weird one, because he didn't really do too much damage, but at the same time, Oliveira only got a submission attempt on him, so I don't even know how the fuck you score this fight, man. They really need to factor in submission attempts a bit more, I feel like, but still, it's what it is. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Holy shit. Oh yeah, I got Oliveira wrong, by the way. I picked him to win. Like I said, I did awful for these picks. Then we had... Damn it, my birds need to shut up. Then we had... Whoa. So like I was saying, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Justin Gaethje was kicking up the leg of Max Holloway, which I thought was, that's what he's going to do, but you could sort of see where this fight was going after the first round. Max Holloway broke his nose with a spinning back kick. And I see a lot of people saying, I'd love to see this fight if Justin didn't break his nose. Okay, but who broke his fucking nose? Max Holloway broke his nose. Like, it's not like Justin Gaethje came into this fight with a fucking broken snoz just before fucking coming out. He didn't come out and his nose was fucking broken. Like, Max Holloway broke it. You can say what you want, but Max Holloway caused the break in his nose and then beat the shit out of him. So I didn't understand that narrative coming out of this fight. But Max Holloway looked awesome in this fight. He looked great. He beat Justin Gaethje up badly. Did 181 significant strikes. He won every round except for the fourth round. Even though they don't count it, Justin Gaethje did knock him down. They don't count it for some reason. So technically the stat of Max Holloway never being knocked down still is going, which in my opinion it shouldn't be. I don't know how that doesn't count as a fucking knockdown. He got punched on his ass. But yeah, I don't know. UFC wants to keep that stat going for Max. Maybe to make Ilya look bigger if he drops him down. I don't fucking know. But yeah, great performance by Max. Then they brawl. He does the Ricardo Lamas point to the center, and Justin Gaethje loves violence, so he runs forward. They're swinging, and Max Holloway knocks him out with 1 second. 1 fucking second to go in the fifth round, the latest stoppage of all time. Or it's tied, I think, with Demetrius Johnson. Sorry, I got an itchy nose. I think it's tied with Demetrius Johnson or somebody else like that, getting a fifth round stoppage. But amazing performance by Max Holloway. Beats him up and then knocks him out. Tough for Justin Gaethje. I know he said he wanted to go on one last title run, so I hope he isn't retiring, because I think he can get a Conor McGregor fight next. I really do think that is a fight they could do. I would be definitely down to see that fight. If Conor McGregor beats Chandler, even if he loses to Chandler, I feel like Gaethje is a good step. There's beef there. It'll be a big fight. And I wouldn't be opposed to that main eventing a pay-per-view. So that could be cool to do next. But yeah, Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria. I know Volk deserves a rematch, but I want to see Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. It's the biggest fight to do. It's a good fight. And Max has a good shot to win that. So I'd love to see that. I feel like it's more competitive than Volk versus Ilia at this point, with Volk coming off back-to-back KOs. But yeah, I'd love to see it. Let's book it. Book it in October. That's when Ilia was meant to come back in Spain, but the Spain card got cancelled. So yeah, let's do that. Max versus Ilia, in my opinion. Then we had Weili Zhang versus Yan Xan. Great performance by Weili Zhang, but fucking Yan was fucking giving her a tough fight in there, man. Dropping her, hurting her. Zhang choked her out cold at one point, but she woke back up. Joe Rogan and DC were like trying to say that they gave her smelling salts to wake her up, but I think they did something to the nostril. There was like some sort of technique you can do to open up the nostril, and then they made her smell ice, like a block of ice, which is totally legal, but they were like making out there was some like big scandal about to go down. But you know, she dropped her in the first round, I think, and then I think it was the third round after she woke back up, she knocked down Zhang, and she was hurting her a lot, but Zhang got the first round because she choked her out cold. Then she got a 10-8, or was it a 10-8 in the second? No, I think she got a 10-8 in the second, and then she got dropped in the third. But yeah, Yan was in that fight, man. She looked tough. Somehow made it to a decision. Carla Esparza, the finishing GOAT, I guess. She finished Yan somehow. I don't know. Women's MMA doesn't make any sense to me. But Weili Zhang wins. Not the most dominant performance, man, but a good performance. It makes the fight with her and Tatiana Suarez much more interesting if that happens, because Yan was taking her down. Every takedown attempt she went for, she got, and I think she reversed position a few times as well. So Tatiana Suarez could definitely take Weili Zhang down, in my opinion. So that makes that fight a lot more interesting. But yeah, good performance by Weili Zhang. And then she did like a little promo, like a Chinese tourist promo. It was like, come to China, we have good food, we have great culture. I don't know if the Chinese Communist Party was like, you know, Weili, you're not doing enough for your social points, so go shout out China on the broadcast, go let them know that visit China, give money to China. But yeah, she did that, so that was pretty cool. But then moving on with Alex Pereira, the nutcracker himself. Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. Don't you dare kick this man in the balls. Don't ever kick this man in the balls. Don't ever. Gets pretty much this fight. The build-up was cool. Jamal Hill was waiting at the entranceway. He's like, yeah, I just want to welcome him in. I want to welcome him in. You know, he was trying to tell the security guards, but they made him move. And Alex Pereira, you know, he goes to pull his fucking arrow, and then Jamal Hill catches it and fucking knees it to break it, like symbolizes that he's going to break it, which was pretty cool. Then they do a face-off, and I don't know, you could sort of, I'm not going to say he was broken in there, but you could sort of see Alex Pereira was like fucking ready to kill in there. Jamal Hill looked a little nervous. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. He looked nervous in my opinion, but only Jamal Hill can know that for sure. Then the fight starts. Alex Pereira just starts booting up his leg early. Gets them leg kicks going. Jabs to the body, which to set up the left hook. Keeps jabbing up the body, kicking up the leg. Pretty much then gets kicked in the balls. No. And he's like, Herb Dean's like, stop! He's like, no. And he's like, continue! Herb Dean don't want that smoke. And then immediately, literally like fucking 5 seconds after telling Herb Dean no, he just knocks him out and then fucking lands, I think I counted, it was like 12 unanswered shots. Jamal Hill tried to call early stoppage, but like, my man, you were out cold. I think he got knocked out like 6 times because it looked like he woke back up. He was like, boink, huh? Boink, huh? Boink, huh? Boink, huh? Boink, huh? Boink, huh? Like he would just jump his head back up. Like he would go to wake, it would wake him back up, and then he'd get knocked back out like 6 times. It was very similar to when Alessio Dos Santos spinning wheel kicked Sean Strickland, where he like sort of like kept hitting him on the head. Like he would go to wake up, he would wake back up, and then he'd go back to sleep. It was very reminiscent of that KO. But great performance by Alex Pereira. He called for a heavyweight title, or not heavyweight title. He called for just a heavyweight fight at UFC 301. Parker Porter, let's bring him back. Jake Collier, bring him back. Let's just give him some random fat heavyweight to kill at UFC 301. Doesn't need a main event. Let's just give him some random fat heavyweight and let him get a highlight reel on UFC 301. Why the fuck not? You know, the man's 10-2. Let's get him 11-2. He can say he's got knockouts in 3 weight classes. Just give him some heavyweight scrub. Like, I'm not even joking. Let's just do that. Like, come on. Why the fuck not? Like, come on. Let's just do that. Like, it'd make 301 a lot cooler. Just see Alex Pereira kill some heavyweight. But make sure they're not a wrestler. Let's give him some fat, unathletic brawler that he can just KO. Let's bring back Cyril Gane's teammate. Damn, what's that guy's name? Cyril Gane, teammate, heavyweight. Oh my god. He fought Josh Parisian. Or you could even do Parisian. I think or did Parisian get cut? Oh, he got cut. Oh, they should bring Parisian back. Fuck it. He beat... Oh, Alan Badout. Yeah, bring Alan Badout back and let Alex Pereira just KO him real quick. And then, yeah, that's it. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. You know, great card, amazing card, one of the best cards of the year. Definitely the card of the year already. And one of the best cards of all time. It's definitely my top 5 that I've watched live. Maybe I'll do a video on my top 5 cards of all time one time, but yeah, I had to make this video. It was an amazing card, so I couldn't not talk about it. I'm sorry I didn't make it on the day, but I feel like this is better. You know, quiet household, nice lighting, and calm mind after that. 'Cause, like, fucking Jesus Christ, man, these fight cards get to me sometimes. It's like the hype. It's better for me to compose myself. I'm a lot more composed the next day to talk about the fights. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, put on notifications. And I'm going to be trying to get some interviews out. But let me know, who do you guys want to see me interview next? Leave some suggestions if you know any fighters. Send them to my channel and we'll try and do an interview. I want to interview some more UFC fighters though, because I loved interviewing Steve Erceg. So I would love... you know, to interview some more UFC fighters. Don't even have to be Australian. I'd love to interview some foreign guys as well. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Adios. Toodle pip. Bye bye. Goodbye.